He was living across the street, an original story for Midnight Madness. I moved into my new apartment in early March. It was small, just a one-bedroom above a coffee shop, but the rent was cheap, and the constant smell of roasted beans drifting through the floor made it feel cozy in a weird way. The first morning after I unpacked, I opened the curtains to let in some light. Across the street, in the window of the old townhouse directly opposite mine, a man was standing there, staring right at me. He didn't look away when our eyes met. He didn't even flinch. He just smiled faintly and raised his hand in a slow, casual wave. It was strange, but not creepy. Not yet, anyway. Maybe he was just being friendly. I waved back awkwardly, then went about my day. The next morning, he was there again. Same place, same time, just standing in his window, staring at mine. It became a routine. Every day, when I opened the curtains, he'd be there. Sometimes with a mug in his hand, sometimes with nothing, always watching. At first, I tried to laugh it off. Maybe he was bored, lonely, retired, whatever. Cities are full of weird people. But then I realized something that made my stomach twist. My apartment windows are tinted from the outside. You can't really see in. You can see a faint reflection, but not through the glass. Unless he had something that let him. A camera, maybe, a telescope. Or maybe he just knew when I was there. A week later, I came home from work a little after 10 p.m. I was exhausted. I changed into my pajamas and turned off the light. My phone buzzed a few seconds later. The message was from an unknown number. It said, "Nice pajamas." I froze. I hadn't posted any pictures online. I hadn't told anyone my new address. I hadn't even given my number to most of my coworkers yet. I walked to the window and pulled back the curtain just a little. His light was off across the street, but I could feel him there, standing in the dark, watching me. I shut the curtain, turned off my phone, and tried to sleep. The next morning, I told myself I was being paranoid. Maybe it was a prank. Maybe someone guessed. Still, I kept the blinds closed all day. That night, I decided to test something. Around midnight, I stood in front of the window and sent a text to that same unknown number. "Who are you?" For a minute, nothing happened. Then my phone buzzed again. "You looked better when you smiled." My chest went cold. I hadn't smiled. I hadn't even moved. I rushed to the door and made sure it was locked. Checked the windows again. Even slid a chair under the handle. I tried calling the number back, but it went straight to voicemail. The sound that played wasn't a message. It was just breathing. Slow, heavy breathing, like someone was holding the phone close to their mouth. That was enough. I called 911. The dispatcher asked if I could see the person. I said no, but told her about the man across the street and the messages. She told me to stay inside until the officers arrived. While I waited, I opened the camera app on my phone and pointed it at my apartment door. I had a small security camera above it, one of those cheap ones that connects to your phone. I wanted to check if anyone was in the hallway. And there he was, standing directly outside my door, looking straight into the camera. I couldn't move, I couldn't breathe. He wasn't wearing shoes, just a black hoodie, dark pants, and his face half lit by the flickering hallway light. He smiled, slow and deliberate, and then held something up toward the camera. It was his phone. A second later, mine buzzed. "Smile." I dropped the phone. The police arrived 15 minutes later. The hallway was empty, but they found wet, barefoot footprints leading down the stairwell and out the side exit into the alley. The officers said he must have left right before they got there. They took my statement, checked the locks, and told me to stay with someone I trusted for the night. So I packed a bag and went to a friend's place across town. I didn't sleep. I just lay there staring at the ceiling, waiting for my phone to buzz again. But it didn't. Not once. The next morning, I came back to the apartment with one of the officers. Everything looked normal at first. The door was still locked. The windows were still shut. Nothing seemed disturbed. Then I saw the bedroom. The blinds were open, and my phone, the same one I dropped the night before, was lying neatly on my bed, screen up, camera app open. The officer picked it up and frowned. He opened the gallery. There were 23 new photos, all of me, sleeping. In some of them, I was turned toward the camera. In others, my mouth was slightly open, my hair across my face. But in the last one, the 23rd photo, my eyes were open. I don't remember that. I don't remember waking up. The officer looked at me like he wasn't sure what to say. I just stood there staring at the screen until he quietly locked the phone and told me I should probably stay somewhere else for a while. So I did. I moved out a week later. The house across the street has been empty for years. The landlord told me the last tenant left after an incident. He didn't say what kind. Sometimes when I walk past that street at night, I can't help but glance up at my old window. Once, I could have sworn I saw someone standing there, a shape in the dark, a faint reflection, maybe just my imagination. But then the light flickered on, and I saw a hand lift slowly into the air and wave. They say madness begins at midnight, and sometimes it never ends.